Alright guys, welcome back once again for another video of upcoming games that you should know about or that should be more awaited by people. All of these are indie games, which is why they don't get that much attention. But we're here to change that, so if you like anything of what you see in this video, please consider dropping a like as it can truly help them and also the channel, which has seen a bit of a decrease in people tuning in recently. Let's get into it right away with the first game. First off, we have SCP Pandemic, a brand new FPS horror game which right now would be the absolute best time to know about it since it just had a successful Kickstarter campaign and gained more than $100,000 to make the best game and experience the SCP universe has ever seen, and I'm all up for it. Thanks to this successful Kickstarter, the game will have more monsters, more maps, more factions and such at launch, which is gonna be awesome. SCP Pandemic is a hardcore cooperative and single-player first-person tactical shooter that can be played in up to 12 players or alone if you'd like, with a high focus on immersive combat and semi-linear storytelling. The developer's current design efforts are a combination of large open spaces for PvE combat, in addition to focus points for linear objectives and horror sequences that will make you feel vulnerable in the vast darkness and claustrophobic passageways. Throughout the game, you will be positioned against a plethora of different enemies, including but not limited to horde enemies, large monsters, and completely unkillable threats. The creators want to emphasize heavily that this is not a game just about horde enemies, zombies, and others. There will be incredibly diverse threats that you will encounter over time, and they will look extremely weird and unique. The environment design is far from over too. Over time it will become more alive and lived in as the game comes to release. In addition, they hope to bring more and more interactivity into play. So far you can shoot out more slides, destroy some items by firing your gun at them, and so on, but later on it'll be much more advanced. Next up we have Interlakes. Now this one is a game that is not liked by people at first glance of seeing the gameplay, but after looking at it more and more, you start to see what Interlakes is all about. It is an indie game, which means it has a low budget and is simply an all-out war game where you face off against the giant alien machines from War of the Worlds. It is being created with the intention of being a fun survival open world game where you try and end the alien invasion, which has just begun. You have access to different vehicles, some from the civilians, but also some from the army, like tanks, infantry vehicles, and more. The best thing about Interlakes is the machines. I've been in contact with the developers and they work really hard to nail the machines to have it as realistic as possible. They can throw cars, they can throw people, and they can shoot lasers and more. At its core, Interlakes is a game being developed by an indie studio, Team Revive, which are two brothers, and it is an open world sci-fi third-person survival shooter game inspired again by War of the Worlds and games such as Half-Life 2 and The Last of Us. In Interlakes, you explore a vast and beautiful world invaded and in the verge of being conquered by alien forces. The creators aim to improve aspects of the survival genre where you have to survive in a dangerous world on the verge of total destruction and madness. I'm really looking forward to seeing more from it, and let me know if you guys are excited too. Next up we have Pioneer, which is an upcoming open world stalker / Escape from Tarkov inspired project that has you explore a world full of different monsters and bandits in either multiplayer in PvP or in single player with a full story. In Pioneer, you act as a former operative who survives in a world after a technological disaster. You're stuck on a Soviet island isolated from the mainland by a large-scale technogenic anomaly, so now you have two primary objectives: find and rescue your comrades and investigate the mystical Mogilnik station. The game is an action MMORPG where your main goal is survival and exploration. You'll explore secret Soviet underground factories, machines, and labs, also abandoned settlements that were inhabited by vermin and mutants. Suitable for different playstyles, the game's weapon customization system allows you to drastically change weapon performance, providing a lot of flexibility, and you can also craft different weapons with different things found on the battlefield. The most important parts of the game are the open world exploration, the story, the faction missions, and raids. You can either explore vast open areas with strangers, fight deadly enemies in raids with your friends, or uncover the story of this secret Soviet island. In the special areas called empty lands, which are scattered around the island, there are uncovered amounts of valuable resources and also dangerous secrets of Soviet military. In this zone, you'll fight against the deadliest creatures with other survivors or against these survivors. Explore the most dangerous areas of the island to find unique and valuable gear. Let me know what you think of this game. Next up, we have The Store is Closed, a unique open-world survival game in an IKEA store, inspired by an SCP story and is looking really fun and different for a survival project. You're trapped in an endless furniture store, trying to survive against the mutated staff who attack at night. The player must explore the store, including the different departments, the underground SCP labs, and the floating departments in the sky, to find a way out. When the lights go out and the store closes, the staff gets aggressive. Luckily, the world is filled with furniture which can be used to craft weapons and build fortifications to survive the nights. You'll explore an endless world filled with different departments such as the show floor, cafes, and warehouse sections. Every day the store will close, the lights go out, and the staff become more dangerous. Make sure you have a weapon to defend yourself or hide until the store opens again. Explore the mysterious SCP labs where you'll find unique weapons, crafting materials, and more dangerous staff. Also, you can build towers to the sky and discover what lies above. There are both secrets and horrors above though. The entire world is destructible. Every wall, table, chair can be broken to be used as crafting materials. Next up, we have 6 Days in Fallujah, an extremely realistic FPS horror game taking place in Fallujah, of course. The developers are calling this war FPS an horror game because of the fact it is inspired by a real-life story where soldiers absolutely do not know what's gonna happen in the next corner. The suspense will be really strong and each situation brings its horror as you strive to survive in a place where people do not want you. 6 Days in Fallujah is a first-person tactical shooter that recreates true stories of Marines, soldiers, and Iraqi civilians during the toughest urban battles since 1968. Lead a fire team through real events from the battle. Each mission is narrated by a real person while you experience these same moments as if you were them. Experience the uncertainty of combat through a groundbreaking procedural architecture system that reshapes the battlefield every time you play. Every room and every building changes every time. So just like actual combat, you'll never know what to expect next. Overcome insurgents by executing authentic tactics with your team. One-tap orders your team to fix enemies in place with suppressive fire so you can flank, breach, and clear rooms, and more. The go command to give to your squad makes it as easy to direct your team as it is to fire your weapon. I'm really excited to see how realistic this game is. Finally, we have Sprawl, which is looking like a really fun, kind of retro FPS project inspired by many of the classics. Escape the walled city and take on the militarized government of the Sprawl. Fueled by the blood of your enemies and a mysterious voice in your head, make your way towards the spire to topple whatever lays within. Sprawl is an hardcore retro FPS set in an endless cyberpunk megapolis. Here, the streets are your playground. The dark alleys and dilapidated apartments are all surfaces compatible with your Icarus cybernetic implant. This implant allows you to perform gravity-defying acrobatic wall-running maneuvers. Your enemies, the militarized police of the Sprawl, stand no chance against you. Not only that, but their blood fuels this same implant, vastly enhancing your reaction time. On command, you can enter a state in which even bullets move at a snail's pace. A vast arsenal of weapons lie at your disposal, and the armies of the corporate government are endless, but be warned, the Sprawl eventually consumes us all. Alright guys, that is pretty much all for today's video. If you'd like to see more videos like these on upcoming games that you might not know about, definitely give some support, and of course you subscribe to stay tuned. I'll talk to you all very soon. Thanks to Richard Westfall, Bruce Wayne 236, Thunderbeard, Kian Zofagari, Rickno23, Diamond Hunter 45, Themistocles, Space Beer Gaming, and Rash Singbati for being a master member on the channel. You can become a survivor member for as low as 99 cents only by clicking the join button below. This will support me and the channel as a whole to continue making videos on the games that truly deserve it.